Morning, everyone. Today I'll be going over installing the container runtime on my single node Chemo-based virtual server. In the prior video, we spent time going over installing the control plane components, all this to essentially learn, at least myself, uh, how to essentially stand up the Kubernetes the hard way. So uh, just to, as always, preface, I do use artificial intelligence for generating my documentation based off of other people's uh, documentation I found online. Specifically, there is this uh, GitHub repo called Kubernetes the Harder Way, and it's a few years old. Um, so I just basically asked Claude to update it for me and tailor it to my use case. So again, my use case is a single virtual machine using Chemo on my basically my desktop, um, my gaming computer, which just runs Ubuntu 24.04. So with that, let's get started. So in this chapter, before kubelet can run pods, the nodes need a container runtime. The runtime is responsible for pulling the images, creating containers, managing their life cycle, and connecting them to the network, right? And this chapter installs three binaries that together form the container runtime stack. So we're doing container D, runc, and the CLI for the container runtime, so CTL. We're not going to be using Docker um, because we already have what we need. We are already SSH'd into the VM, and we can check the states of the prior components. Let me see if, yeah, they're right here. So we can do 193. Let's try that one more time. Okay. Yeah, I don't like to be prompted when I check for the statuses. And then the other one is the scheduler. All right. So the four basic control plane components are all active and running. That doesn't necessarily guarantee that they're functioning as expected, but I mean, we would have to look into the logs of each of them. But for now, we'll leave it there like that. We could do a get ns. Yeah. So at least that's showing up, and that's working. That's good. All right. So we have to modify the environment variable file that I created in a prior video. Um, all this is within the virtual machine. So let's open up the environment variable kind of file that I have. I'm going to just add in the additional ones that are missing. So architecture is already there. etcd version is not Kate's version. And then we need to add these last three. Let's resource that. In fact, let's do that. It's just easier. Every time the terminal opens up, it'll be sourced. We'll probably remove that later once we get things running, but for now we'll leave that there. Okay, we've set up our environment variables, and you can confirm that. So we're looking for containerd version, cry version, and runc version. So good, they're all set. Perfect. All right, so now we're gonna go through these steps. And what's it doing? We are going to download. Well, we're going to download it down here, but it's setting the full-on package versions. So for the crictl and the containerd service, what's interesting though is that, okay, so for runc, it just does this. It's a little bit different than the others. Okay. All right, so then we download them in the current working directory. We make a temporary containerd directory. I'm not sure. Okay. All right. So let me make like a downloads directory before I don't want to keep dumping stuff in my home directory, so we can get rid of this from the prior video. Let's say prior session. And then we don't need cube controller and cube scheduler. Let's do a little housekeeping here. And yep, okay, so mkdir downloads, let's see the downloads for the time being. I should probably move the install scripts here too. Yeah, okay. So let's create a new one, a new script, which will be install, what should we call it? Container runtime, or just runtime, container runtime? CR. Yeah, let's do that. Install cr.sh. Shebang line user in m shell. I'm going to force the env file, which is in the home directory. Take this, put it here. All right, so it's setting these variables up, downloading these files, creating this folder, unpacking the archives, copying over the runc. Oh, it's essentially doing a rename. And then setting the execution bit on runc and crictl. Wonder why I didn't do that on containerd. Oh, because containerd is a folder with a subfolder /bin. I wonder if I'm supposed to leave this in my home directory. Because the crictl and runc get put in user local bin, but containerd/bin, oh, okay, so they get put in /bin. Does this even exist? It does. Okay. Interesting choice. I'm not sure if that's standard or or if it should go somewhere else, but we'll go with it for now. We'll follow up later. Okay, so the next thing is to create the container D configuration. I've set up container D locally on my Ubuntu machine, and I don't remember having to do it this way. I think there is a different way where you just copy the template over, but again, we'll just keep going with the flow. And it explains two things. So, two things to know about this configuration. The system cgroup equals true tells container D to use the system D for cgroup management rather than the cgroup fs driver. This is required because Ubuntu uses system D, and running two cgroup managers simultaneously, system D plus cgroup fs, cause instability. It's like when you're in Windows and running like two virus and scanning systems at the same time. They're gonna step on their toes, right? So that's pretty much what this is kind of saying. Binary name tells the container D where to find the runc binary, which is where we're going to be copying it based off the prior copy command here. Okay. Then we're going to create the systemd service for container D. And then it has to, it can only start up after the network target has been come online, that service. So pre-start, it's going to do mode probe on overlay, and then when it starts, it's going to run container D, and it has some additional, I guess, I don't know if these are environment, I don't know if they're environment variables or like CLI arguments. We could check once the file gets copied over, do like a -H to see. Delegate yes setting is important. It tells systemd to delegate cgroup management to container D, allowing it to create sub cgroups for containers. Without this, container resource limits would not work correctly. Okay. So let's put that there. And then you enable, or should I say daemon reload, enable the container D service, then you start it. Then you can check the status. And you can do a test here. We'll do that manually after the fact. So let's get started. chmod plus x install cr. Okay. All right. So install your runtime. All right. So it downloaded the crictl. I wonder why it downloaded the v1350. Does that like correlate to like the Kubernetes version? I guess we could find out. crictl releases. Tools. That's where we downloaded it from, right? Let's look at the wget command. The container D, we got it from right here. The Kubernetes SIG. The latest version is 0.36.0. We can go to tags real quick. Okay. Oh, this came out yesterday. That would explain it. Yeah, that would explain it. I generated this documentation before that, like a few days before that. So this version is relatively new. We're going to avoid it for now. All right, so it says that the service is now active. And what I want to do, since we only created one service here for container D, I want to also look at the journal ctl command for the container D service. So just out of curiosity. Okay. I know that's not part of the documentation, but it doesn't hurt to kind of see what's happening. All right, so it started the service, loading plugin, metadata, yeah. Starting plugin, synchronizing an RI plugin, successfully booted. All right. Okay, so if the container D is here. I wanted to see if we can run this. Okay. So that's the binary global options. It's config dump. So what does that do? Okay. Looks a bit different from what I created earlier. The one that I created earlier is an etc it's this toml file. Yeah, I mean, it's still there. Maybe it's two different things. Publish binary to publish events to container D, OCI hook. Okay. Well, that's one more thing to follow up on, is to understand why when I do a dump versus the one that I have generated here from Claude, it's much simpler for sure. Maybe this is like the defaults that you can get. So one of the things that's here is runc this. Let's see if I can do a dump and then for that. Yeah, so it's there. What's it set to? Runc right here. Options. User local bin runc. User local bin runc, and then the other one. Is this it? Plugins, IO, container, D. Oh, but this is gRPC. gRPC. So it's not the same. I mean, it was able to find it. You know what? Let's make our lives easier. D.txt. All right, let's look that up. Okay. Yes, it's not this, it's just pointing to that different one. Wait, what? Mine says, oh, it is the same thing. I was just not reading the whole thing. Whole key. IO container D gRPC. Okay. Oh wait, hang on a minute. There is a I think I have to escape that. No, that's not how you escape it. Let's search for this substring here. IO dot container D container D gRPC. Okay, v1 CRI. v1 dot v1 CRI. Okay, so that's the TLS certain keep. That's it. Interesting. But then what was it that we saw earlier? Runtimes. So plugins, IO container D. Okay. All right, we're just gonna leave it at that for now. I think we're good for this session, at least for the runtime container runtime session. I'm gonna cut it short because the next one might be longer. I'm not 100% sure yet, but in the next session we'll be going ahead and trying to spin up the worker node components. So I hope this helps someone in the future. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the section. All right, take care. Bye.